Man, guys, look at this. It's a beautiful brisket. Look at that, it's falling apart, tender. Get a little of that sauce. Tell you what, if you want to learn how to make a fantastic brisket, you need to look at this show. You're going to find the best recipe you've ever seen in your life. You don't need a grill, you don't need a smoker, you just need a little bit of time. Hello everyone, welcome back to Texas Cooking Today. On this episode, we're going to be making a mesquite smoked brisket. Now hang on, hold on. Before you turn this off because you don't have a smoker or a grill, don't worry about it. I'm going to teach you how to do it without either of them. One thing Texans are known for is their brisket. We know how to cook a brisket like nobody else does. We know how to make it right and how to make it smoky. And I'm going to teach you how in the winter time when it's snowy or icy and nasty and yet we want some barbecue, I want to show you how we do it. We cheat, okay? I tell you what, come over this way. Check out these fantastic ingredients and let's get busy making a mesquite smoked brisket. Come on over, guys. And guys, this is just a really simple thing. In life, when you want to have barbecue, that means you smoke meat. That's what barbecue is. It is meat that has been smoked at a low temperature for a long period of time. The long cooking breaks down those fibers of meat and makes it really tender, and then the smoke gives it that flavor and the richness. Well, the technique we're going to do leaves out only one item that barbecue gives you, and that's the red band on the outside of the meat. This won't have that, but it will have every bit of the flavor. The truth of the matter is, smoke, it's a particulate, right? Now, particulates can be captured, and then they can be confined and held. So that's what we have here, is we have liquid smoke that we're going to use. Trust me, guys, this stuff works. It doesn't taste nasty. It's really, really very good. And this is how we get around barbecue in the winter. You see, I'm from a northern part in Texas, and we get a lot of snow up there. And as a result, a lot of times in the winter, you just don't feel like going out and smoking brisket, but you feel like having barbecue. Well, other than going to a restaurant, you're kind of consigned to this method right here. What I have here is a fairly small brisket. This one is 8 pounds. And believe it or not, that's little for a brisket. Briskets that are big are twice this size, are about 16 pounds. So you're going to be looking in that range. When you purchase a brisket, don't buy one trimmed. Get it with the fat on. On the other side of this, there's a thick layer of fat. And I'm counting on that thick layer of fat to provide two things: tenderness and flavor. That fat is slightly acidic, and that light acid of tallow flowing through the meat as this cooks will break down some of those tender tissues that connect the meat fibers and will soften them, okay? And that's what we're looking for here. This is going to provide our flavor. Now, I pulled out 2 different bottles only because I wanted you to realize that normally these things come in little bottles, and it only takes one of these to do a brisket, regardless of the size. The method of cooking we're going to use here today is called braising. Guys, this is very, very simple, okay? Let's get right on to making this. The type of cooking that we're doing, as I mentioned before, is called braising. So you're going to need a deep pan. What braising is, that is slow cooking in liquid. And what this is going to give us is this most delicious, super juicy, tender, smoky flavored meat that's going to be off the hook good. If you don't have a barbecue pit, you can still make the stuff and make it good. Now, I'm gloving up only for the sole purpose that I don't like wasting time washing my hands every time I touch meat. I can just rip these things right off and I'm on to the next thing. Our pan. Things don't really matter a whole lot in that pan, except I find it's kind of helpful to pre-dress it just lightly with a little oil. And I do this because even when braising, sometimes, and I don't know why, but sometimes the meat likes to hang on to the bottom of the pan. So I'm just going to move that stuff around and coat the sides, and that makes a nice, easy to clean up pan after the fact. Our meat right here. Let's get it into the pan. Now I said the other side's all fatty. Look at that. Look how much fat's in that. That's part of brisket, guys. This is a naturally tough meat, so it lends itself well to long cooking. Now, if you notice, even a turkey pan has a hard time fitting a small one of these. That's a big slab of beef. Fat side up, guys. We're trying to get the fat to flow down through the meat to enhance this wonderful dish. Liquid smoke, as I mentioned before, and we're going to be braising, so we need water. First thing I'm going to do is put some water in here, hot water. Don't be putting in cold water, guys. If you put in cold water, that's a foolish move, because that water is then going to have to heat. If you'll notice, a little bit of the meat is still sticking out. Some of that fat is sticking up and part of it's under. Just right, okay? We want enough water in there to cover it well. I put in, about 7 cups of water in that. Now I'm going to add some salt to this mix, okay? Not just a whole lot, but a little for the size. And then our liquid smoke. Now, this liquid smoke, go ahead, put the whole bottle in there, okay? There we go. All I have to do now, put this in the oven and wait until it becomes fork tender. Now, the temperature to cook it at, 275 degrees to cook this. If you want to run it up to 300, that's okay, but don't go over that, okay? Braising is about cooking slowly. It's about gentle cooking, guys, and it's about making things very special through slow cooking. So we're going to get juiciness, we're going to get tenderness, and we got barbecue smoke flavor going on right down in here. Let's get it into the oven and get this guy cooking. Okay, guys, let's get this down in our oven. Got our lid on here, ready to go. Oh yeah. There we go, guys. Again, 275 degrees. How long is it going to take? It's different for every brisket. Depends on if you got a select cut of meat or a choice cut of meat. Also, it's going to depend on the size of the piece of meat. All right, so there's a lot of factors here. The altitude is going to matter. But the real truth of the matter is this isn't going to cook in 1 or 2 hours. This is going to take the better part of a day, okay? So if this is done in 4 to 6 hours, I'm going to call it lucky. I'm figuring more like 6 to 8 hours. Be ready for that just in case. But the way to check, stick a fork in it. You've heard that old saying? Check to see if it's done, stick a fork in it. Fork tender means you put a fork in it, and if the fork slides back out without the meat hanging onto it, it's fork tender, it's ready. Okay, that's what we're going for. Now what do we do in the meantime? Let's make barbecue sauce. See y'all on the other side. I've just pulled my brisket out of the oven. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Remember when I said that fork needs to slip out easily? Looky there. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, and shredding nicely. The flavors are there. Guys, this is it. We have the equivalent of a good quality Texas barbecue. Here's the thing, we cooked it with the fat side up. So we have browning here, but there's really no browning on the other side, is it? It's just been in there getting what the meat would normally get. There we are. If you wish to flip it over just like this, and at the end of cooking, stick it back in heat and get it to brown up a little bit, go ahead and do that, and you'll get a nice, lovely crust across there. Now what I'm going to do, I'll put this right back down in the oven, let it sit open instead of closed now, and get the heat directly on this surface and get some browning on it, okay? And then our meat is finished up. It is, for all intent and purpose, fully cooked at this point, because it is, look at this, it's falling apart. See that? How it's just coming apart? Beautiful. All I need to do is just brown it off to give it some texture and appearance, and we have a beautiful brisket. It's ready to go. Now guys, this was in the oven just for another 20 minutes. It gave it this nice, beautiful brown top on there. It's ready to be cut up and served up. But, yeah, there's always a but, huh? In this case, you don't want to pull it out of that liquid immediately and start cutting it. You're going to have to let it rest. On big cuts of meat, it's even more important to allow them to rest than it is on the smaller cuts. And in this case, because it is so large, we're going to have to give it a long resting time. So this can have a good 20 to 30 minutes of rest time. Don't be in a rush for it. Perfection takes time, and the longer it sits here, the more flavor it absorbs and the better it's going to taste. So just give it some time, and if you want, occasionally spoon a little of that tallow that's floating on top of this liquid right up over this, and you're going to do nothing but increase the beauty and flavor of this fabulous, fabulous roast. So we have just like that. Isn't that nice? That'll keep it glossy, glistening, and beautiful and tasty. I am looking forward to digging into it though. Steal a little for the chef right off the side here. Okay guys, now I need to get this over where I can do some cutting on it. However, it has been cooked so tender, it's going to be hard to move. Ooh, looky there. I like it when things go well. Okay folks, let's take a close look at this meat. Something I want to point out on this thing, and that is the grain of the meat itself. If you'll notice, the grain runs distinctly this way. So the fibers of the meat running this way, I need to cut this way. And that way, as I eat it, it pulls apart gently and properly. Don't cut it with the grain, cut it across the grain. That way you get a more tender piece of meat. Now, let's get on to cutting this thing up. So since the grain's running this way, I'm going to be cutting this way. So not running lengthwise with the meat, but actually kind of diagonally to the meat. So the first pieces here are going to be a little bit small, but that's all right. And if you'll notice, that meat's actually tearing. It is just that tender, guys. It's falling apart. My knife is remarkably sharp. I'm trying not to tear this meat, so I'm going very gently against it, placing zero pressure on the blade, just kind of allowing it to glide. Because I wanted to get some beautiful slices there. There we go. Let's get these over on a plate. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful, falling apart, tender barbecue. Guys, if you're wanting to fool your friends, like I said, this is the way to do it. Man, I was just tasting some bits of this. It's so smoky, so delicious. That is memorable. But you know something? Even with as good as barbecue can be, and just like that, sometimes it's possible just to bump it up a little bit. Let's put a little sauce on there. Now, right on the top of this. Tell you what, in life, it just doesn't get much better, guys. Absolutely delicious. Folks, give this one a try. You're really, really gonna love it. Yummy. Well, guys, as you can see, there's not a lot of work to this. It's mostly patience. We have this beautiful, beautiful brisket. It is tender, it's juicy. Man, you know, by itself, without any sauce. Beautiful, beautiful. mesquite smoky flavor in that meat. Unbelievable. Wonderful food here. Thank you very much for watching Texas Cooking Today. Thank you for watching this episode. And guys, please, if you haven't subscribed, please do, and click the bell. I'll let you know when the shows come out. And to my subscribers, guys, cheers. Thank you very much. If you would, leave a thumbs up and a comment. I love comments and I usually answer. Y'all have a nice day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.